how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. So you want to talk about Sean today?
Yes. We've been told that we should get Sean an AAC device, but we don't want him to be different. Do you think he needs one?
Yes, I think it is very important that Sean be introduced to an AAC device very early on. Remember, our main goal is for Sean to begin communicating with you and the other people around him. So AAC can be an eye gaze board, photographs he can look at, voice output, or computer device. There is a wide variety of options that we can explore if you do decide that Sean should be set up with an AAC device.
Why does he need a device though?
Well, since Sean does have a physical disability that is going to affect his communication abilities, an AAC device would help eliminate these things. So take his environment for an example. Typically, developing children begin crawling around, they'll pull things off the shelves, they'll pull things out of cabinets, and they'll ask, "What's that?" Well, due to Sean's physical disability, he can't do that. So items from his environment need to be brought to him. Using an AAC device, he can simply say, "What's that?" And that's just one option. He can also press a button that says, "Look," for an item that he sees that interests him, or "Want that," for a toy that he may want to play with. Does that help you understand how the environment's important?
Yes.
Okay, so while we're talking about words a little bit, language development is very important. So typically developing children need to express their wants and needs, their emotions, and their thoughts to other people. That's just a few things. So for wants and needs, typically developing children begin labeling everything around them. Well, Sean can't do that, thus he can't get his wants and needs met. So say you guys are at the dinner table, and you just assume that Sean is done eating. You take his food away, and a few minutes later, he begins to get upset. You have no idea why. Is he hungry? Does he not feel well? You don't know. So if you had an AAC device, Sean could simply press a button that says "more milk." There, the breakdown is eliminated and you've solved the problem. Does that help you understand the wants and needs?
Yes.
Okay, the next thing that's really important is expressing emotions. Typically developing children express their emotions by saying "yay" if they're excited, or "ouch" if they're hurt, and they can let you know if they're sick and things like that. So say Sean is just not himself one day. He's not being very social, he isn't acting right towards you, and you don't know what's wrong. If he had an AAC device, he could say, "I'm sick." That way you could take the steps that are necessary to help him. Can you imagine feeling sick and not being able to tell anybody? It would be very difficult. So the next thing is typically developing 2-year-olds tell people around them how they feel. So say Sean's brother is really getting on his nerves one day. He does not have the ability or access to an AAC device to tell him to go away. If he had a device, he could simply click a button that says "go away." That way the frustration is eliminated and he's a happy camper now. Okay? So the last thing I wanted to talk to you about is learned helplessness. Sean is at risk for learned helplessness because he can't express his needs and wants. Adults just assume a child's needs and wants, and they misinterpret their needs and wants in return. So the child may become passive and stop making any attempts of communication at all. So we don't want that with Sean. So with an AAC device, this will be eliminated.
Won't speech therapy be enough though?
Well, even if it's predicted that speech therapy helped with his speech, an AAC device also needs to be put in place. Right now, Sean is at risk for cognitive delays, social delays, learned helplessness, frustration, behavioral issues, and possibly later academic delays. So if we go ahead and put a device in early, we can eliminate these risks later.
Okay, well thanks for your input.
You're welcome. Do you have any more questions?
No, thank you.
Thanks.